Hi, my name is Sarai Lunkin. Today I want to talk about a topic that it's been in my heart, and I don't want to make this channel only aiming towards, I would say, woman or marriage, although I do have the intention and the passion to be able to help women. But I think this topic that I want to talk about, even if I use marriage as an example, it really is towards relationships and family. So I don't want to limit this topic only towards marriage, but I just want to talk a little bit of my experience on it because I am married and I've learned a lot through marriage. But it's not only limited to that. I think the principles could be applied to relationships or dating or family or friends. I think many women underestimate how much influence and how much the words can affect their husbands. And that's something that I had to experience firsthand to understand the positive outcome in the really negative outcome with how I use my words towards my husband. I think that there's truly so much danger with constant criticism and nagging and complaining towards your husband. And what I observed that it actually limits your husband in becoming the man that he's called to be in your home. And I will also say that not only husbands, but if you are with your partner, and I'm talking more so to women, but if you have a boyfriend or fiance or your husband, this still applies. I have definitely made many mistakes in how I have spoken towards my husband, so I'm not perfect at all in this topic. But I would say that even my husband can see that I have made improvement, and I'm trying my best to be really careful in how I use my words towards him. And I think I've noticed that really depending how I use my words can it just simply can be really discouraging and can keep a man stuck and not fully unlock his full potential to become a better man. Some of the things I've learned is to speak life into my husband, to speak with love, gentleness, to really try to be patient, and that the way I come to him is not as an attack or to tear him down, but it's always with the tone and the intention to build him up and to inspire him to just be better, to become better, because I know he can be better, that I truly believe in him because I can see how much potential he has. And there's times that if I see he might be struggling to see in himself, I want to be a reminder of the man that I know he can be. And that really starts with my words of how I approach him. And also this does not take the accountability or just simply stay quiet when there's things that have to be spoken about. It's more of how you approach it, how you use your words, because gentle words do have so much power because they feed out of respect, and the more we respect them, they're simply a better man, they're simply a better leader, a better husband. And I love that version of him, but it really is something that I have to care for and protect, and that really starts with me. Truly, criticism, nagging, complaining, or disrespect or demasculating a man, it will not get those results. It simply tears down their confidence. It affects their leadership and also their overall emotional safety and well-being in a relationship. I want my man to know that he is capable of so much more, and that starts with stop treating him or talking to him as he is a little child, respecting him or embarrassing him. That is so sad. That is so embarrassing to see. It's really not realistic to constantly tear down your man, your partner, and then be surprised that they're no longer affectionate, that they're not confident or emotionally just present, because you didn't create that safe place in the first place. You're just a constant reminder of his failures. You're just a reminder of this version of himself that he probably already hates. Who is going to be capable of growing? And maybe this is something that you have experienced in your family or friends, but truly nobody's capable to grow in an environment that constantly reminds him of his failures instead of who he can actually become. I think many of the things that probably women struggle with is relying on their husbands for all their emotional needs. And I'm not saying that men shouldn't help with meeting some of those needs, but I think there is definitely emotional maturity that has to grow with us women, especially because we tend to be more emotional. And I say that because I used to lack so much emotionally, and just overall my confidence or in my overall identity of who I was constantly dependent on him, that I would react a lot out of emotions, or I would just act really emotional. And I wasn't just crying, I'm talking about anger or frustration, because I wouldn't know how to handle my own emotions. And that's something that we should work within ourselves, to know when I have to speak and when I have to simply do some self-reflection and manage my emotions before I somehow get things mixed and I'm simply overwhelmed and I complain about something, or I'm starting to nag on things that I probably should have simply paused, take a step back, and analyze a little bit more what the real issue is, so I can approach it a better way instead of letting just things explode. So that's the type of things that really help me navigate my frustrations, because sometimes I really notice that if my husband does something that at the moment made me feel some type of way, it actually is not him or what he did. It's probably something that happened at my job and I'm just really frustrated about or feeling irritated, and I just explode and I just say the wrong thing, or I said things too fast. And that creates that's really damaging. That's really damaging emotionally to your partner. And I think we have to learn to slow down, just to stay with our emotions many times, and try to find the answers ourselves. But when we can't do that, I think we just have to simply be aware of those emotions, and before we speak, learn how to approach it in a more gentle way. Learn how to express your concerns in a really loving, caring way, and not as a way of simply attacking, because that gets you nowhere. That truly gets you nowhere. That will actually give you most likely the opposite results of what you're trying to obtain. And I think one of the practical ways that you can practice speaking life into your partner is, one of the things is affirming his efforts. Doesn't matter how big or how small you think it is, affirming his efforts would feed into him repeating that again and again. And I would really encourage you that no matter how big or small, really try to notice and be specific with things that you notice about him, regardless of what it is. Try to put more effort in noticing things that he's actually doing. I think just appreciating, hey, like, thank you for providing, thank you for being a great provider, or thank you for helping me in this, you're such a great husband. That's just examples of how you can speak life into your husband. And I really see it as a plant. I see as the more life you speak into your partner, you speak into your husband, that plant eventually grows into bringing more of those fruits and grow into fully unlocking that full potential of the man that is called to be. Also, we have to understand that men already go through so much stress, and there's so many things that are already expected out of a man, and that they are not exempt from feeling any emotion or stress or feeling overwhelmed. And I would really encourage you to understand that there's moments that your partner is gonna feel overwhelmed. And I think those are perfect moments to acknowledge his emotions and to be present and to speak life in moments of stress, and encourage him with your words. We are emotional beings, and men also have their own emotions. They're handled differently. I think the more we understand that, the more we're going to be able to handle those situations better. Marriage or relationship is not a competition. And I say that because I have seen this, unfortunately. And it's that we're not here to compete, but more to complement each other in our own ways, in our different roles. Some man and wife, we are not at all supposed to somehow me take his place and him take my place. No, I think we are beautiful, and God is so intentional in creating us in such different ways, in the way we just view or manage things, that just complement each other. And he has his goals and I have my goals, and I think it is so beautiful that we see each other more as a team than there's some sort of competition. Because when you see your partner as a competition, it will be so hard to genuinely celebrate their own victories, all their own accomplishments, and that keeps a man just stagnant and doesn't allow him to just grow. And I think the concept of speaking life is not only wife towards husband, this really applies to any sort of relationship. I think there is a lack of healthy marriages because there's no life that's being spoken into each other. I think the more we speak life into each other, the more healthy, the more, I would say, just peaceful and beautiful a marriage can be. And I just really hope that this is just a reminder to speak life, to truly speak life into your partner. And I would say that you even will be surprised of the man and woman they can become. Yeah, I think we need more healthy marriages. I think we need happier marriages and relationships. But I think many of us just lack the knowledge or lack the wisdom, or simply we're just not given the best example of that. But I have a really strong hope and faith that you can still have a happy marriage, you can still have a healthy marriage, and that your marriage can be restored. And this was just one of the practical things that I have done myself in my relationship, and I have truly see the blessing and the benefit of doing this. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment anything that resonates with you, any story or testimony that you want to share with me. I would love to hear from you. And if you have any questions about this topic, please let me know. I do want to be able to connect with you and answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you stayed this far, I will see you in the next one.